One person has sadly died after being swept away by raging floods in the Western Cape, and another person is missing. It's believed they were trying to cross a river. I'm now joined by Colin Deiner from the Provincial Disaster Management, who joins us from the Tygerberg area in the Western Cape, where their offices and head offices are set up. Colin, thank you so much for your time. I do understand you and your team must be working around the clock ever since those first heavy rains fell a few days ago. Can you first, just to start our conversation, bring us up to speed with regards to one person, the death of one person and another being missing? What do we understand happened?
Hi, good morning, Marcel. Yes, so the message we got just a short while ago is that people were trying to cross the Buffelsbaai River in the Overberg region. One person lost their lives, or lost his life. The South African Police diving unit is deployed there at the moment, working on that operation. We don't have much more information, but that's what we've got at this point.
And this really is something that you and other authorities have been warning about ever since we had that first heavy downpour a few days ago. It's not just the rain falling in that moment, but it's the swelling of the rivers and the canals that happens as a result of that water. And that's going to continue for some time. What is the major thing that you're wanting people to look out for at this time, especially as you're expecting even more rain?
Yes, I think, what's absolutely critical for us is the bigger bridges and the larger roads where we're expecting, where we're having a lot of issues. We generally have provincial traffic. We have traffic department police on those roads, warning people to stay away, closing some roads off. But, there's a myriad of low water bridges, of areas where water has accumulated and is flowing. And those are the areas, with all the resources we have, and we are putting a lot of resources on this incident, we can't be at every single one of them. So it's really so important that people must not cross. We have deployed aircraft to the West Coast, helicopters. Unfortunately, the weather is just keeping us on the ground at the moment. But we are trying to reach places that have been cut off. And it's clearly very important for us now that people do not cross. We don't want the kind of tragedy we saw this morning. And it's really critical that people just at this stage, if it's urgent, we will get there. But I think the important thing now is for people not to cross any low water bridges with vehicles, and also not to try and cross anywhere on foot where you've got flowing water.
Where are the specific hotspots at this time? I know that a couple of days ago, there was a lot of focus on the Jukkelsvlei Canal, the Lawrence River, as well as the Kaiser River that burst their banks at the time. And those go through a lot of populated areas. So that was an issue there. And then, of course, we had major issues in terms of flooding, informal settlements in Gugulethu, Mfuleni, Masiphumelele, of course, is an issue every winter, Khayelitsha in the Strand, as well as Philippi. Talk to us through some of the hotspots where we stand right now this morning.
Yeah, so I think as far as just to talk about the city of Cape Town, so a lot of work. I mean, we had literally 2 days. We had Friday, we had a bit of Thursday, and we had yesterday where we were able to do a lot of work, and the city did a lot of work in diverting water, pumping water out. So the townships we will see, I mean, we've had a lot of rain since 2 o'clock this morning. So the townships, obviously, a lot of those you've mentioned will still have a lot of localized flooding. Our biggest priority at the moment, our high kind of priority area, is the West Coast. So up in Citrusdal is still cut off. It's not easily reachable at the moment. We had a lot of water come down the Clan William Dam, so Vredendal, Klaver, those areas we did precautionary evacuations. My biggest headache at the moment really is up on the West Coast, but we have deployed a lot of additional resources into that area.
Let's talk a little bit about the resources, because what's really struck me, I'm originally from the Western Cape, I'm from the Winelands region, but what's struck me is that normally when we have this kind of heavy rain with flooding being caused, it's normally quite localized in certain areas. What struck me about this time around, and why people are saying this is quite historic, is the vast areas that this has impacted. You're talking about the West Coast, there is the Paarl, Overberg area, there is the Winelands area, and then closer to the city as well. How difficult is it for your resource management to be able to get to all of these hotspots at the same time?
Yeah, look, it's a massive operation, and I think what is important here is to work really on your early warnings. So we started getting these early warnings last week already. And what we did is we activated our disaster management center as soon as we could. And basically what that meant was that we got in everybody. We got in all the district disaster centers, the city, all the emergency services, police, South African Defence Force, our Department of Infrastructure, our Department of Health, who runs our emergency medical services. We got in all the stakeholders. We got in NGOs, Gift of the Givers, Heal Our Land. All these people came in. And we started planning. So we've got early warning systems whereby we can model sort of where the floods are going to be. Not exactly, but very, very close. And that allows us, because, over such a large area, as you were saying, to deploy the limited resources really then means that you've got to put them at the right place at the right time. So getting this kind of information and being able to plan in that kind of respect allows us to put our resources sort of in the best possible places. It's never something that you can do 100% correct, but it does help us a lot in terms of how we deploy and then how we're able to react when the incident takes place.
What has struck you, Colin, about this a particular moment in terms of flooding? Is it the sheer amount of it that's caused so much problems? Because we've seen flooding in urban areas. Was draining an issue there? What for you was the major cause of this happening at this very inflated level, at a very intense way?
Yeah, so look, I mean, we do work prior to our winter season. We do what's called our winter readiness planning, which is cleaning drains, getting municipalities to prepare, areas that are at risk. I think what struck me about this one was, 4 cold fronts in a row. We've just had the third one, the fourth one's still on its way. It's just the intensity. I can recall 6 years ago when we had a storm, although it didn't have the amount of rain, it caused the fires that we had in the Southern Cape. But I think the intensity, just the persistence that this has got, has been so much more than intense that we have seen in the past. The volumes, when you speak to the guys who do the dam safety at water and sanitation, they'll tell you that it's been many years since they've seen this level of intensity. So I think that's really what has been the thing that has created the real challenges for us.
Just one final question. Obviously, your team is focusing on mopping up and helping people in those various hotspot areas. But we also do understand there is an issue with regards to some areas being without power for a long period of time because pylons were affected. I know in Somerset West, where I'm originally from, there's an issue there with a mini a power station that was flooded there as well. What are your colleagues on the power grid side of things telling you in terms of the situation they're dealing with right now?
Yeah, so Eskom are also part of our Emergency Operations Center. They're represented here, and we've been working very close with them. Specifically, we had the 4 pylons that went down around the Overstrand area, and it took out a very large area of the Overstrand municipality. A lot of good work was done, and they were able to restore electricity, we were informed by last night. And it was really difficult. I think people need to appreciate the fact that 4 pylons up on the mountains in this kind of weather is not an easy job. So, yes, they are part of our center. They keep us updated. And then, obviously, the city has assisted them a lot. The city has also done a lot of work on their own electricity provision. So that really is a crucial part of our operations. Without having the support as far as electricity is concerned, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the other things.
Just very quickly, bring us up to speed once again for those who've just tuned in a bit late. 1 person has unfortunately passed away, 1 missing. Just explain to us again what happened there, what river was it that they were crossing, and what do we know up till now, just before we say goodbye, Colin?
Yeah, so what we know, Marcel, is that they tried to cross the Buffelsjars River yesterday evening, and they were swept away. It was 3 people. 1 person has passed away, is what we've heard. We obviously still just finalizing confirmations and that kind of thing. So that was what the situation was. South African Police Services Dive Rescue Team is on scene there. And so, yes, we'll obviously, as soon as we get more information, we'll be able to confirm.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and the update. That's Colin Deiner from the Provincial Disaster Management joining us there from their sort of head office set up in Tygerberg, where they're keeping tabs on the situation across the Western Cape. We thank him and his team for his time and for the work that they continue to do. And you can hear there, the danger is not gone yet. Much more rain expected, and the big advice there from Colin and his team, I think, would probably be, if you don't need to travel anywhere, please don't do so, and stay away as far as you can from rivers, canals, and any kind of water byways that you can up until the weather settles down.